They say what's done in the dark always finds its way to the light. And for Alicia Keys, that moment came with a silence so loud it echoed across the entire internet. No press release, no carefully worded statement, just a quiet, calculated move that flipped the spotlight. Not on her music, not on her family, but on a secret so explosive it shattered every image of her picture-perfect marriage. Because when Alicia dropped that bomb, she didn't just suggest betrayal, she exposed it. And the name caught in the crossfire? None other than Lala Anthony. Whispers turned into accusations, rumors turned into receipts, and what once felt like celebrity gossip suddenly started to look like a years-long web of secrets, silent power moves, and one woman's breaking point. The question now isn't whether Alicia snapped, it's what finally pushed her over the edge. Was it the late-night messages, the cryptic posts, or the secret engagement no one was supposed to know about? Because y'all, if what's being said is even half true, then this isn't just a cheating scandal. It's a full-blown setup. A calculated, slow-burn betrayal that may have started years ago. And now, it's unraveling in real time. And baby, the tea is hotter than it's ever been. It started like a whisper, but Alicia Keys made sure it ended like a bombshell. No cryptic emoji, no vague subtweet, no chance to brush this one under the rug. According to insiders, Alicia didn't just hint that something was wrong. She aimed, fired, and watched the chaos unfold. The target? Lala Anthony. And not just as some side character in a breakup story, but as the woman allegedly engaged secretly to her husband, Swizz Beatz. Let that sink in. Engaged to her husband. This wasn't some gossip blog twisting a headline. This was Alicia going public, dropping receipts, changing the tone, and making sure the world heard her pain loud and clear. Because when this came out, it wasn't whispers anymore. It was screenshots, throwback clips, and side eyes from the entire industry. Suddenly, every fan, follower, and messy TikTok creator was doing what the internet does best: digging. Old Instagram posts with strange captions, suddenly they meant something. That one time Lala showed up at a party Swizz was DJing solo, suddenly it wasn't just a coincidence. That red carpet moment where Alicia looked off, like she wasn't fully present, now it hits different. And the worst part? The more people looked, the more they found. Because this wasn't just a random fight or a marriage on the rocks. This was Alicia saying, "I've seen enough." She wasn't speculating. She was stating facts, or at least what she believed were facts. She allegedly accused Lala of creeping behind the scenes, not just emotionally, but romantically, and possibly even making long-term plans with her husband while playing the just a friend role in public. But here's where it gets even darker. This wasn't the first time Lala and Swizz's names had popped up together. Their connection had been floating in the rumor pool for years. Only now, Alicia was giving those whispers a spotlight. And the moment she did, the entire internet lit up like gasoline meeting a spark. Because once a woman like Alicia, who has built her whole brand on loyalty, authenticity, and love, once she speaks up, you listen. And if this accusation is true, it's not just Lala who's been playing a part. It's Swizz too. And his whole persona as the devoted husband and artistic partner might have just gone up in flames. But wait, this wasn't even the most shocking part. Because as the accusations spread, something far messier began to emerge. Clues that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a sudden outburst at all. What if Alicia had been collecting these receipts for years? What if the betrayal wasn't new, but the silence was? Because the deeper you dig, the more it starts to feel like a game of quiet revenge. And what comes next? Oh, it only gets darker. Now, if Alicia's accusation was the fire starter, then what came next was pure gasoline. Because the moment Lala Anthony's name hit the headlines, not as a friend, not as a guest, but as the alleged fiancé of Swizz Beatz, the timeline lit up like a torch parade. Suddenly, all the smiles, all the cameos, all those chill, we're just cool moments between her and Swizz started to look real suspicious. And here's the part that has everyone raising their eyebrows. This didn't feel new. It felt strategic. Let's rewind. Lala was married to NBA star Carmelo Anthony for over a decade, right? Their relationship had its own ups, downs, and scandals, but through it all, she remained poised, unbothered, private. But while that marriage was falling apart publicly, something else was happening quietly, a growing closeness between her and Swizz. Nothing too loud, nothing explicit, but real ones know. Sometimes the loudest things are the ones not said. Body language, off the charts. Private meetups, clocked. Online flirts and subtle reposts, girl, the math ain't mathin'. And yet, Lala never said a word, never claimed Swizz, never denied either. Every time whispers popped up, she'd casually be spotted with a new man, a tech entrepreneur, a mystery executive, someone from behind the scenes. Never confirmed, never denied. Just enough to throw the scent off. But was that just coincidence or part of a long-running play? Because here's the thing. While Lala was publicly playing it single and unbothered, she was privately showing up near Swizz like clockwork. Red carpet appearances, events, that infamous lingering smile moment where fans swore they caught something extra in her eyes. The tone, the energy, the pause when Alicia was mentioned. It didn't scream side chick, it screamed positioning. And that's where the double life theory kicks in. Some fans believe Lala has been playing a long game, staying close, staying relevant, and staying out of the heat just long enough to slide in when the timing was right. While the blogs chased every new man she was allegedly dating, no one was clocking the constant, the one guy always orbiting her world, Swizz. And that's the brilliance, if this theory is true. Because if she's been laying low, planting seeds, and waiting for Alicia's world to shake just enough to make room, then this isn't a love triangle. It's a chessboard. And Lala, she might just be the queen who waited for her moment to checkmate. But here's the twist. If this was all calculated, Alicia seems to have finally caught on. And when a woman like Alicia gets pushed into checked, she flips the whole board. Now, the accusations aren't just about hurt feelings or trust issues. They're about being played by someone she let into her home, by someone she called a friend. And baby, betrayal like that, it hits different. But just when we thought we knew who was pulling strings, a new player enters the game. And this one might have changed everything. If Lala was quietly playing the long game, then Swizz Beatz was playing the loudest one of all. Because while the world was watching him celebrate his queen, Alicia, the anniversaries, the birthday posts, the studio sessions, behind the scenes, things weren't adding up. And now, every grand gesture is starting to feel like a carefully planted diversion. Let's talk about the $300,000 custom Maybach. Yeah, the one it took 2 full months to deliver. Back then, fans saw it as a beautiful tribute. A man going all out for his wife's birthday. Relationship goals, right? But now, it's giving something else entirely. Because that Maybach wasn't just a gift, it was a moment. one that distracted everyone, including Alicia, from whatever else was bubbling beneath the surface. And the distractions didn't stop there. Swizz hit the studio. He remixed her songs. He dropped verses praising her as a queen, as a legacy, even comparing her to Rosa Parks, the kind of public validation most women dream of. But now, those songs sound like smokescreens, because while he was giving Alicia roses in front of the world, rumors say he was handing out secrets in the dark. The timeline gets messier the closer you look. Around the time Swizz was denying any connection to Lala in public, shutting down fans, clapping back in the comments with that now iconic "knock it the F off Z," private sources say Alicia had already started to piece things together. She'd allegedly noticed the weird texts, the last-minute travel changes, the cryptic posts that suddenly made way too much sense. It's like Swizz was playing both sides, keeping Alicia emotionally invested while quietly keeping something else, or someone else, on the side. And let's be honest, love bombing is one thing, but orchestrating a campaign of distraction? That's next level. Because think about it. If Alicia did suspect something, if she had even the slightest inkling, how hard would it be to confront the truth when you're being flooded with gifts, attention, public love? How do you call someone a liar when they just built you a stage to sing your truth? And maybe that was the point. Maybe the gestures were never about love. They were about control, about creating a reality so loud Alicia wouldn't hear her own doubts. But the thing about smoke and mirrors, eventually the smoke clears. And when it does, the mirrors start to crack. And behind them, the truth always waits. So now every diamond, every lyric, every birthday post feels less like romance and more like damage control. A desperate attempt to hold together an image that was already falling apart behind the scenes. But here's the twist. This wasn't just about keeping Alicia in the dark, because just as she started catching on, another name entered the mix. And this one took the drama from messy to catastrophic. Just when the smoke seemed thick enough to hide it all, reality came crashing through like a wrecking ball. And this time, it wasn't just suspicion, it was confirmation. Because according to insiders, Alicia Keys didn't just uncover rumors of betrayal. She allegedly discovered something no woman ever wants to find out. Her husband may have fathered a child outside their marriage. Let that sit for a second. We're not talking about DMs, we're not talking about flirtations, we're talking about a whole other life. And the kicker? It wasn't Lala's name on the paperwork. Nope. Word on the street is that the woman allegedly pregnant wasn't Alicia, wasn't Lala, wasn't even someone we'd heard of before. She was a white woman. And the internet lost its mind because fans weren't just shocked, they were confused, disoriented. The math wasn't adding up until it did. And once it did, it was chaos. Twitter threads, TikToks, blind items from gossip pages. Everyone started digging into this mysterious other woman, trying to figure out who she was, where she came from, and how long this had been going on. But wait, it gets wilder. Some fans started asking a dangerous question. What if this woman isn't real? What if she's just a cover-up? What if it was Lala all along, hiding behind a story meant to keep her name out of the headlines? Because think about it, Swizz and Lala had already been rumored for years. If they were together secretly, if there was a pregnancy involved, what better way to dodge backlash than to pin it on a nameless other woman? Suddenly, the silence makes sense. The red carpet smiles, the sudden bursts of PDA between Alicia and Swizz right after scandals would swirl. It's giving distraction. It's giving deflection. It's giving cover story. And here's the most haunting part. The alleged pregnancy reveal didn't hit during a regular week. It didn't leak during a random downtime. It exploded right after Alicia and Swizz's 15-year anniversary. Let that marinate. While Alicia was posting captions about 15 years of magic, smiling in matching outfits, posing for anniversary portraits, insiders claim she may have already had a court-ordered paternity test in her hand. That's not just betrayal, that's diabolical. Because that means while the world was celebrating them as #Black Love, Alicia may have been living a lie and still smiling. Now here's where it breaks even deeper. Fans started remembering 2010, the year Swizz officially left his first wife, Mashonda, and married Alicia just months later. Back then, Mashonda claimed she was blindsided, that she had no idea Swizz was about to remarry. That story, it's sounding awfully familiar now. And suddenly, the roles are reversed. Back then, Alicia was painted as the other woman. Now, she might be the one being replaced. And Lala, quietly sliding into the same position Alicia once held. The upgrade, the prize, the new chapter. Except this time, there's allegedly a child involved, a permanent connection, a bond that doesn't just affect the marriage, it redefines it. And if that's true, then Alicia isn't just facing infidelity, she's facing legacy theft, a full-blown blueprint being used against her, one she might have once benefited from. But Alicia's no fool, and according to sources, she's not staying silent anymore. She's allegedly preparing the papers, and this time, there may be no coming back. Because once a paternity test enters the room, love songs and luxury cars don't mean a damn thing. This is war. And what's coming next might just bury the fairy tale for good. Sometimes, the past doesn't just echo, it roars. And for Alicia Keys, that roar is starting to sound eerily familiar. Because as fans watched her marriage unravel under the weight of secret messages, love bombs, and alleged pregnancies, they couldn't help but notice something deeply uncomfortable. This has happened before. Only back then, Alicia wasn't the betrayed one. She was the woman they said he cheated for. Let's rewind to 2010, the year that changed everything. Swizz Beatz was still married to his first wife, Mashonda Trifere, a woman who had stood by him, had his child, and by all accounts, believed they were still working on their family. And then, boom. Just months later, he and Alicia were posting engagement photos, smiling for cameras, celebrating what they called a divine connection. But Mashonda, she said she was blindsided, said she had no idea the marriage was over until the headlines told her, said Swizz moved on before he ever officially moved out. And the internet, they dragged Alicia for it hard. Back then, she was called a homewrecker, the other woman, the reason Swizz's family fell apart. But Alicia stood her ground. She stayed quiet, stayed classy, focused on love. Eventually, Mashonda, Swizz, and Alicia posed in photos together, promoting their blended family. It looked healed. It looked progressive. It looked powerful. But for many fans, it always looked like a cover-up. So now, over a decade later, when Alicia is the one allegedly blindsided, when she's the one watching her partner fall into someone else's arms, when she's the one piecing together years of deception, it's impossible not to ask, is this karma? Is this the exact same movie, just with a flipped script? Because everything that's happening now, the whispers, the lies, the public denial, the explosive silence, is exactly what Mashonda described back in 2010. And now, Alicia is living it. Only this time, the woman waiting in the wings isn't unknown. She's Lala Anthony, a friend, a sister in the industry.
Someone who smiled with her, laughed with her, shared red carpets and camera flashes, all while allegedly waiting her turn. And what makes it more painful? This isn't just history repeating itself. It's Alicia's own legacy playing against her. Because back then, the world watched her walk into love while someone else grieved. Now, she's grieving while someone else might be walking into her shoes. And maybe that's the cruel twist of this entire saga. Because Alicia Keys, the woman who once sang about karma in that iconic track, might now be living it. Every lyric, every headline, every haunting line of what goes around comes around. It's not just a song anymore. It's a reflection. And just like back then, the public isn't buying the photo ops or anniversary captions anymore. They're watching the cracks, the silence, the pain behind the eyes. Because when you build a love story on top of someone else's heartbreak, you better believe it can crumble the same way. And this time, Alicia might be the one picking up the pieces. But don't count her out just yet. Because even in the middle of the storm, she's not done fighting. In the world of celebrity scandals, silence can be louder than screams. And if there's one person who's mastered that silence, it's Lala Anthony. Because while Alicia Keys was allegedly discovering love notes, dissecting text messages, and unraveling a betrayal that may have started years ago, Lala, she was doing what she always does, smiling, stunting, and staying just quiet enough to dodge the fallout. But was that silence a sign of innocence or a strategy? Let's be honest, Lala isn't new to this game. She's been in the industry too long, too smart, too media savvy to just accidentally find herself in the center of a cheating scandal. Twice. So how did she stay so clean in a mess this big? Simple. Distraction. Every time the headlines hinted at her and Swizz Beatz, she'd casually pop up with a new man, a mystery entrepreneur, a tech guy, a gym buddy, always someone just interesting enough to shift the narrative, but never enough to make things official. No couple photos, no soft launch posts, no kissing in the sunset Instagram reels. Just enough noise to get the blogs talking, but never enough to confirm anything. And meanwhile, the story she wasn't telling, the one about Swizz, stayed buried. Every time the internet got too close, a new distraction would magically appear. And when people started sniffing around her relationship with Swizz again, suddenly she was focusing on her career, prioritizing her peace, or keeping things private. Private or calculated? Because when you look at the timeline, Lala's always been there. Not too close, not too far, just in that perfect space where rumors stay alive but never stick. It's a PR masterclass. And whether it was intentional or not, it worked. The public stayed confused, the blogs chased red herrings, and while Alicia was allegedly holding back tears behind the scenes, Lala was holding the world's attention without saying a single word. Now tell me that isn't power. But here's the thing, power always comes at a cost. And now that Alicia has allegedly put Lala's name front and center, publicly accused her of being secretly engaged to Swizz, that carefully crafted silence, it's cracking. Because if the accusations are true, Lala's not just the rumored side piece, she's the next wife. And if that's true, then all these years of silence, denial, and redirection weren't just for self-preservation. They were for the ending. A play that's been running silently in the background for years. One that could only work if Alicia never looked too close, and if the public never connected the dots. But now, the dots are forming a very clear picture. And the woman who never confirmed anything might be days away from confirming everything: engagement, pregnancy, marriage 2.0. And if Alicia doesn't move first, Lala might just be walking out of the shadows straight into her spotlight. But not so fast, because the one thing nobody accounted for: Alicia's timing. And just when Lala's silence was about to crown her queen, Alicia snatched the mic back. And what came next was the real plot twist.
If you think the chaos was wild before, buckle up. Because when Alicia Keys allegedly outed Lala Anthony as being secretly engaged to Swizz Beatz, the scandal didn't just escalate, it detonated. No one saw it coming, but once it dropped, suddenly everything made sense. The lingering glances, the backstage whispers, the strange appearances at events Swizz attended without Alicia. All those random coincidences, now they looked like signs. Because a secret engagement doesn't just happen overnight. It's not a spontaneous moment between two people caught in temptation. It's a plan. And if what fans are speculating is true, this secret engagement may have been years in the making. Think about it. Lala and Swizz were allegedly getting closer during the very time Alicia was being flooded with distractions, extravagant gifts, remixed love songs, lavish birthday surprises. The public narrative painted Alicia as the queen, but the private story, it might have been Lala's all along. Sources say the engagement wasn't a sudden spark. It was the end result of a carefully crafted arrangement, a quiet bond built over time, hidden under friendship, disguised as loyalty, and never fully denied. And when you look back at key moments, the puzzle starts to form. That Met Gala where Alicia was glowing in natural makeup and Swizz was just feet away from Lala, caught exchanging what looked like more than friendly glances. The red carpet interview where Lala praised Swizz with a sparkle in her voice that felt a little too personal. The body language, the proximity, the chemistry, all of it captured in photos we ignored at the time. But now, they're receipts in plain sight.
What's even more haunting? Some insiders claim Swizz may have even proposed while still married. That the ring didn't come after a breakup, it came during the double life. While Alicia was allegedly trying to save a marriage, Swizz might have already been building the next one. And guess who stayed silent through it all? Lala. Not a denial, not a distraction this time, just silence. The kind of silence that screams, I already won. And maybe she did. Because if Alicia really has one foot out the door, if she's preparing for divorce like some sources say, then the engagement Lala kept hidden may soon become her public coronation. From alleged side piece to fiancé, from bestie to bride. And whether you love her or hate her, you can't deny, that's a power move. A scandalous one, a ruthless one, but a move nonetheless. But here's the irony. If Alicia never exposed it, would we have ever known? Or would Lala have slipped into Alicia's role the same way Alicia once slipped into Mashanda's? History isn't just repeating, it's rewriting itself. Only this time, Alicia's not letting the pen stay in someone else's hand. She took it back. And in doing so, she cracked the illusion wide open. But what comes next might just rewrite all their lives forever. So now we're here, at the edge of it all. Alicia Keys, once seen as untouchable, has allegedly been touched by betrayal from every direction. A crumbling marriage, a secret engagement, a pregnancy scandal, a legacy that feels like it's slipping through her fingers. And at the center of it, the same names, the same whispers, the same pattern. It's hard not to see this for what it is, a perfect storm of silence, strategy, and maybe karma? Because what began as a love story people once envied has now turned into a case study in how history repeats itself, just with different faces. Was Lala playing the long game this whole time? Did Swizz Beatz create an entire illusion to hide what was really going on behind the scenes? Was Alicia really blindsided? Or did she see it all and simply wait for her moment to strike back with quiet precision? And perhaps the biggest question of all, was this chaos orchestrated from the very beginning? Was it all a carefully played game, a slow-motion betrayal that's only now coming to light? Or was it just one big, messy coincidence that exploded on the worst possible day? At this point, only the people inside that inner circle know the real truth. But one thing is clear, the fairy tale is over. The masks are off. And what's left behind? Scandal, speculation, and silence that says more than any interview ever could. So now we ask you, do you think this was the karma Alicia never saw coming? Or do you believe she's been silently planning her exit for years, just waiting for the right moment to flip the script? Let us know in the comments. We're watching. And with the way this tea keeps boiling, you're going to want to stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story isn't done yet. And if what we're hearing is true, the next chapter might be even messier.